All right, guys, we're going to go over how to do the top view of the orthographic drawings. So we've got a packet here, and you can see these two drawings that have been made. We're going to focus here on problem number 1 first. So we're going to draw our orthographic drawing here, and then this is our block that we're trying to draw, and it's been drawn isometrically on our paper. So we have to figure out what dimensions are we going to use to draw this shape up here. And they've put this window here to help you visualize. All right, this is what we're looking at. We would see these two rectangles when we're looking straight down at this object. All right, so I've made a representation of this object with the linking cubes here. It's not the exact same dimensions, but it just helps you understand what this object looks like. Okay, and if we were to look at it straight down from the top, this is what we would see here. So notice we take the picture here and we turn it counterclockwise so that we can make our drawing. So this is diagonal, it becomes a horizontal line, and this becomes a vertical line in our drawing. We never make diagonal lines in the orthographic drawing. They are only in the isometric. So you have to figure out how to make these diagonal lines into either horizontal or vertical. So you just turn it counterclockwise. So I would take this block where this is the isometric view here, where you can see the right and the top and the front. And I'm going to turn it counterclockwise and then rotate it so that we're looking straight down on it, like this. And you can see that it becomes two rectangles, and we've got straight sides here and straight edge here. So we've got horizontal lines and vertical lines. All right, so how big are the lines going to be? Well, this edge here is 4 inches, and then this 2 means from here to here is 2 inches. And we know that 2 plus 2 is 4, so that means that this edge is also 2 inches. Together they make 4 inches. And then this edge over here is 7 inches, and so that's how long our horizontal edge is going to be. So it's going to be a 7 by 4 rectangle, and we can see that this half is higher than this half. So that means that we're going to have to draw in this edge, which would be right in the middle. 2 inches on each side, so that's right in the middle. 2 is half of 4. All right, so we're going to use the ruler and draw that in. Now when I draw mine, I like to move the ruler just inside of the grid line because it makes it a lot easier to see what I've drawn. And even then, it's still kind of difficult to see, so I'm going to make sure I get that colored in nice and dark so it's easier for you to see. Now you don't have to make yours quite that dark, but you do need to make it dark enough that I can see it when I go to grade it. So that was 4, and this way is going to be 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that. This way is also 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then it's 4 here. All right. And then we need to put in this edge, which we already said is halfway. So right there is our edge. So it's just a 7 by 4 rectangle. It's been divided in half, which if we look at our block, now obviously this isn't 7 cubes, it's not the same dimensions, but you can see the shape. It's just a rectangle, simple rectangle. All right, now on number 2, it's very similar. It's still 7 inches here, and it's still 4 inches here. And what they're trying to show you is that they're trying to help you understand first where to draw the edge, and they're trying to show you that even though you might draw the same basic shapes, 7 by 4 rectangle, the block can have different shapes. So that's why we use different views. We have a front view and a right view as well to help us see the block. We don't just draw the top view, because you could end up with a 7x4 rectangle. And in fact, on the next page, you'll see that they are again a 7x4 rectangle, but each one is a different shape. So they're just trying to help you understand that just because we draw the 7x4 rectangle doesn't mean the block is going to look the exact same. So this one again is going to be a 7x4 rectangle, 7x4. Remember to turn it this way, so this edge is 7 and this edge is 4. And then our edge this time is going to be vertical instead of horizontal. So it would go up and down this way. Now back to this one. If you're having trouble seeing it, I forgot to go over this part, you can shade it in. And sometimes people like to do that because it helps them see the shape better. You don't have to, but that's something you can do if it helps you see it better. So you're going to do this one on your own. Okay, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a 7x4 rectangle. This edge is going to be 1 inch, which means that this edge is going to be 6, because 1 plus 6 is 7. So the whole edge together is 7, and then this edge, this vertical edge, is going to be 1 inch in. Draw that right there. Okay, 3 and 4, I'm not going to go over too much. You can do those on your own, but I did already go over those dimensions. Now this part of the packet is a little bit confusing. It looks a little bit different than the other part because of the dots, and so that throws people off sometimes. Now what you got to remember is that these dots, remember we're drawing the top view here, so I'm going to shade this in to help us see the top view. Okay, we got 2 parts here. And when you're working with the dots, even though this line touches 3 dots, 1, 2, 3, we wouldn't actually count this as 1. I'm just going to erase my shading real quick to help us see this. Right, when we start counting at 0, so that was actually 0. This is 1, and this is 2. If I start here to draw, I would go 1, 2. So I've moved 2 dots, even though I've touched 3. It's the same in the grid paper. If I start here and I go up, 1, 2, I've actually touched 1, 2, 3 lines. 1, 2, 3 lines. But this is 0, this is 1, and this is 2, so it would only be 2 squares. Because I moved 2 dots, I started here and I moved 2 squares. Same with this one. This is 1, 2 dots, so it would be 2 dots. This one, we start here, we would go 1, 2, 3, 4 dots. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that would be 4 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now obviously this isn't my final drawing. I just want you to get an understanding of what it's going to look like. Now I'm going to make my actual drawing. All right, so this rectangle here is 4, and then this one is 2. Now I'm going to show you what that would look like using the linking cubes. So this is what that block looks like right here. Now, yes, I realize that this is 4 dots, all right? But 2 dots represents 1 cube. And the reason we do that is because if we just made this 2 dots, it would be really teeny tiny. You would just have this tiny little shape right here, and it would be very difficult to see. So we've expanded it so that on our drawing paper, it's easier to see and it takes up more of the space of what we have available. So just get in the habit of when we're doing isometric and working with the cubes, it's always going to be 2 dots per cube. So we would start here, this would be 1, 2 dots, 3, 4 dots. 2 dots per cube. This one would be, start here, 1, 2 dots. So basically we just take the number of dots, let me write this a different way. There's two different ways you could write this actually. So you could do cubes times 2 equals dots. Or the other way would be dots divided by 2 equals cubes. All right, now we're going to actually draw this top view. So this shape here, this is it isometrically. So I'm going to turn it counterclockwise, rotate it this way so I only see the top view. So we've got a rectangle and then a square added on. And as we know, there's an edge right here because this square is further down than this one, so we're going to draw on that edge as well. There won't be an edge here because these two are equal to each other, like they are here. They're equal. It's straight across. All right, so I'm going to make my rectangle. It's going to be 2 dots, or 2 squares, tall, and 4 squares long. All right, so that is that. Now we've got to add in that. And it looks like it's separated from the shape, but it's not. Remember, you take this, rotate it counterclockwise, rotate it to look at the top view, and you can see that this edge is a straight edge here on the left side. So that's what we would do here. Come straight down from the left side. And there you have it. That is your top view of this shape. Now this shape is a bit more complicated, but again, I find if we shade in the part we're going to draw, it helps us visualize it. So this is the view we want to draw. And if I was going to build that shape, it would look like this. So this here is this part. The cube sticking out on top is right there. And then these two are this part. And now you have to remember that there is a cube back here. This can't be floating in midair. It's a solid block. So there is a cube under there that even though it's not shown in the isometric drawing, you have to just remember that it's there. So if we were to take this to draw it, okay, this is isometric. We rotate it counterclockwise, rotate it down to look at the top view, and that's what our top view is going to look like. Now, I'm not going to draw it on the grid paper for you. You need to draw it, but I will go over the fact that you need to remember this would be this would be an edge, and this would be an edge because this cube is raised up from the rest. So it's going to look like this. But you're going to draw in this edge and this edge here. There's no edge here because those are straight across. And there's no edge here because those are straight across. So this is going to be drawn here. Okay, when you're done with that, you're going to flip it over to here. And on number 7, this is the top view here. Number 8, a little bit tricky. There's a top view here. There's a top view here. And this would be part of the top view as well. And you can't see the whole thing. It would look something, I'm not going to make it the exact same dimensions, but I'll give you an idea as to what it's going to look like. So again, this isn't the exact same dimensions. I'll go ahead and add another row of cubes on here. So this is an idea as to what this cube would look like. Now notice when I turn it isometrically, see this face right here, this red cube disappears when I turn it isometrically, but it is there. You got to remember that it's there. So I take it, turn it counterclockwise, rotate it to the top view, and you can see that it's basically going to be a large rectangle divided into 3 equal rectangles. This is part of the top view. And I'm going to draw these edges in because that is higher and that is higher than that part in the middle. So it's basically a big rectangle divided vertically into thirds. But I'm not going to draw that in there. You'll have to finish that one in. When you're all done, you can turn it into me. Oh, also, if you want these cubes in order to help you visualize what it is you're drawing, to help you visualize these blocks that you're drawing, feel free to ask. I've got a lot of linking cubes that you are welcome to borrow as long as you are using them to help you with the assignment and not just playing with them.